All right, let's get right into it because today we are unpacking one of the wildest family dramas you'll ever find. We're talking about a story of high-stakes deception, identity theft, and a stolen destiny, all from the book of Genesis.
So what's this all about? Well, it really boils down to three things. You've got a father at the very end of his life who literally can't see what's happening right in front of him. You've got two brothers locked in this intense rivalry. And then there's this one single blessing, a spoken promise so powerful it's going to set the future for an entire nation.
Okay, so let's set the stage here. It all kicks off with the patriarch, Isaac, who's getting on in years and feels like his time is just about up. So Isaac is old, and this is key. His eyesight is gone. He's blind, and he's thinking, you know what? I could go at any moment. So he decides it's time to do one of the most important things a patriarch can do, pass on that formal, official blessing to his heir.
So he calls for his favorite son, Esau. He's the older one, the rugged outdoorsman, a great hunter, and Isaac gives him a pretty simple job. Go out, hunt some wild game, cook me that savory meal that I love, and then you'll get my blessing. The plan seems super simple, right? Straightforward, traditional.
But that simple plan?
Yeah.
It's about to get completely blown up. Why? Because someone else was listening in. And she had a totally different idea of how this was going to play out.
And that someone was Rebekah, Isaac's wife. Now, while Isaac's favorite was the rough-and-tumble Esau, Rebekah's favorite was the younger son, Jacob. The second she overhears what her husband is planning, bam, a whole other plan starts cooking in her mind.
And this is where it gets really wild. I mean, look at the detail here. This wasn't just some spur-of-the-moment thing. This is a meticulous, four-step con. She's going to cook the meal herself, using goats to taste like game. She's going to have Jacob put on Esau's clothes so he smells right. And then the masterstroke, using hairy goat skins to fake Esau's hairy arms. It's brilliant in a sneaky way. So the stage is set. The plan is in place. But now everything, and I mean everything, comes down to one person, Jacob. He has to walk in there and pull off the performance of his life.
And you can see the problem right here. I mean, these two brothers are polar opposites. Esau is a hairy guy. Jacob, he's got smooth skin. This is the biggest hurdle, the biggest risk. If his blind father reaches out and touches him, the whole scam is over.
And Jacob knows it. He is absolutely terrified. He says to his mom, "What if he touches me? I'm not going to get a blessing. I'm going to get a curse." He totally gets the spiritual weight of what he's about to do. He sees the huge, huge risk.
But Rebekah, wow, she doesn't even flinch. She says one of the most chilling things in the whole story. "My son, let the curse fall on me." She's so dead set on getting this blessing for Jacob that she's willing to take the full spiritual heat herself. She basically says, "I'll take the hit from God. Now just do what I told you."
And so the moment of truth arrives. Jacob, decked out in his brother's clothes, goat skins on his arms, walks into his father's room with the food and says the lie, straight up. "I am Esau, your firstborn." But Isaac is immediately suspicious. Something just feels off. He can't see, but he can hear, and that voice just doesn't sound right. And that's when he says this famous, haunting line. The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Man, can you imagine the tension in that room? He is so close to figuring it all out.
But in the end, even with all that doubt, the physical disguise works. When Isaac reaches out and feels the hairy goatskins, when he smells the scent of the outdoors on Esau's clothes, his senses are tricked. He asks one more time, just to be sure, "Are you really my son Esau?" And Jacob just doubles down. "I am." And Isaac, he buys it.
So Isaac eats the meal, he drinks the wine, and then he does exactly what he promised. He gives his son the blessing, the one that was meant for Esau. And that's it. The theft is complete.
And just look at what's packed into this blessing. This is way more than just, "Hey, I hope you have a nice life." This is a full-on transfer of power. We're talking prosperity, political dominance over other nations, and, here's the real kicker, authority over his own family, including his older brother. Jacob just got everything.
But the story is not over, not by a long shot, because now we have to deal with the fallout. The big, painful reveal is coming.
The timing here is just, you couldn't make it up. It's pure drama. The text says that Jacob had barely walked out the door.
when Esau walks in from his hunt, carrying the very meal his father asked for. We're talking a matter of moments. So Esau comes in, presents the food, and says, "All right, I'm ready for my blessing." Isaac is totally confused, and he asks who it is. And that's when Esau says the words that blow the whole thing wide open. "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau."
And the reaction is just immediate and visceral. The scripture says Isaac trembled violently as the full weight of what just happened crashes down on him. And when Esau figures out his blessing was stolen, he just lets out a loud and bitter cry. You can feel the raw pain in that moment.
What happens next is a tragic lesson. A spoken blessing, in their world, was irreversible. Think of it like a missile. Once you fire it, you can't just call it back. It wasn't just nice words, it was seen as a real, tangible force that had been released into the world. What was done was done.
And this table just lays out the devastating difference. It's brutal. Jacob's blessing is for richness and power. Esau's, it's for a life away from richness. Jacob was made lord over his brother. Esau is told he will serve his brother. The only tiny glimmer of hope he gets is this one line, a prediction that someday way down the road, his descendants will get restless and break free.
And Esau's grief is just boiling over into rage. He even points out that the name Jacob can mean he deceives. He connects this all the way back to a time when he lost his birthright, and in his mind, it's just a pattern of betrayal. This is the last straw.
And that's where this story leaves us, with these massive, lingering questions. Was this just a dirty trick, a con job by a manipulative mother and her son? Or was it somehow the twisted fulfillment of a divine destiny? And in a story where everyone's hands are a little dirty, can you really say anyone was truly in the right? That's something you have to wrestle with.